Geologic time is huge, and it can be hard to wrap our heads around. So what we're going to do is we're going to condense the past 540 million years into a single day. Now, everything pre-Cambrian is just rocks and germs, and I'm sure some people like rocks and germs, but... So we are going to start our midnight with the Cambrian explosion, and that's when we had the evolution of larger, more complex, and, let's be honest, freaky animals. Nothing actually exploded in the Cambrian explosion because Michael Bay hadn't yet been born. Now at about 20 past 3 in the morning in the Ordovician, the first plants are on land and the first insects have evolved not far behind them. At 20 past 5 we find ourselves in the Devonian period where there's lots of fish, and some really big fish, and some really scary fish. Just after 6:30, and the fish are at it again, but this time the fish are coming onto land. We're now a smidge after 7:30 in the morning, and those land fish have given rise to the first amphibians. Around 8 AM, there's an extinction, and that's going to be a theme. The Devonian extinction gives way to the Carboniferous. The Carboniferous is hot, and there's a lot of oxygen, and that means rainforests. And it means giant bugs. 9:45, Pangea forms, and we get the first ever reptiles. 10:40 and the Carboniferous rainforest collapses. And this eventually gives way to the Permian period. The Permian period is where the synapsids really took over. Now they gave rise to cool things like Dimetrodon and Gorgonopsids, but also you are a synapsid. We're now halfway, we're at midday, and you will notice there are still no dinosaurs. 10 to 1 in the afternoon, everything dies. Not quite everything, but like pretty much everything. This brought in the start of the Triassic period, and that was shortly followed by, finally, the first dinosaurs. 1:30 in the afternoon, we get the first crocodilomorphs, but not the first crocodiles. Crocodiles are not as old as people think. 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and you guessed it, it's another extinction event. And it devastated pretty much everything except the dinosaurs, and we don't really know why, but they were just kind of fine. And so they took over, and they got big. 10 to 5, it's almost dinner time, and now we get the first mammals, and 5:30 we start the Cretaceous period, and around about now we get the first flowers. 9:45, the dinosaurs are still in their peak, and we now get the first birds. Now 3 minutes past 9 in the evening, and only now do we see some of those really famous dinosaurs, Tyrannosaurus Rex, Triceratops, Ankylosaurus, and they showed up just in time for a big old asteroid. We're almost at 10 PM, and now we have crocodiles. Also, monkeys. 11:15, we now have the first apes. 1 minute to midnight, and now Homo sapiens, that's us, finally evolve. About 3 seconds to midnight, we have the Pleistocene extinctions. Those are the events in which we lost things like the mammoth and the woolly rhino and the saber-toothed cats and the giant sloths. And finally, with less than a second left until midnight, we have the beginning of recorded human history.